minutes up?
That was pretty cool.
Yeah, I like that up.
Yeah.
I did give thanks.
We're tired.
The clock is running, I guess.
Tried to finish pizza last night at like 2 in the morning. Oh my goodness.
Not my bad.
Yeah, you're right before the rain.
I know, I was so happy that he was finished. I mean, obviously they'll do corn, but as far as getting these, this is supposed to be.
So this is,
Yeah, the fields was in front of our, north of our house are not been touched.
I think I'm just gonna say it's your prerogative, not expecting hard from all the resolutions, not required of the law.
Just want to let you know that.
I remember a couple of years where they got, all the machinery was getting stuck.
Otherwise, I don't really,
You know, and I
I
got
miss that project.
running around my spot thinking, oh my gosh, I'm so sorry for you guys. Oh, it is 6.
Call the meeting to order. Please rise for the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. All right. Part of their opening, I'll read the district mission statement. In partnership with the communities, the mission of the Dilbrook-Lindenfeld School District is to educate individuals in an environment of trust and respect so they become self-directed, responsible, lifelong learners. We'll call it, got everyone here. Well, as Shannon, Jen Chapman from Healers. Okay. The agenda, we have one change to the agenda, we're adding Jen Chapman from Ehlers. 6.1 to give us an update on the sale of bonds. And everything will just be moved down. 6.1 becomes 6.2. Do I have a motion to adopt the agenda as amended? A motion by Nicole, is that a second?
Second.
Second by Brittany. Any questions or discussion? None, all those in favor say aye. Aye. Opposed? Motion carries. On to number 5, public comments and rebel recognition.
Well, we have a Section 8A cross-country champion, Tony Winter, so congrats to him. He runs next, so I asked Katie today, when does he run now at state? He runs next Saturday, I believe at 10 o'clock. 10, yep, and it's at the U of M golf course or something, I believe, yep. So congratulations, I didn't ask this today, but is that that's probably our first cross-country champion?
I think so.
I think so.
I bet it is, huh? I guess in my
He
time.
made it to state last year, but he wasn't
He's
section.
made it to state, yeah, but he was not the Section 8 champion, I don't think, so congrats to him. I know he's had, every time I think we're here, he's broken his own record again. Yes, you remember that last time we say, oh, Owen's got the new record, oh yeah, he broke his own again. And now, not only did he do that, he also is the section champion, so kudos to him and good luck to him at the state. Football team won their game, so they play this Friday night for the section championship. Volleyball had a great season and had a tough night late last week, so that was unfortunate for them, but they did have a wonderful season. They were ranked 2 in the section, so yeah.
I think anybody have any other rebel recognition? I just have one, just the DGF Baseball Club has been building a new bathrooms and concessions at the baseball field in Bob Marshall Field, and it's coming along. It looks great. They've done some work with the field to shorten up the distance between the catcher and the backstop. And just a shout out to them for all the good work and all the donations that have gone into that and the fundraising and whatnot. So,
Yeah, there's been a ton of in-kind work there from different contractors.
And some of our students have done it as part of their class time too, with Mr. Kittleson's class.
Yeah, there's just a lot going on.
Yeah, no, it's fantastic, and I drive by it, I've looked at it a few times, and I just wanted to give a shout out. All right.
I might be a little delayed in this, so I apologize in advance, but the 5th grade team did their
Buffalo State Park.
They did last week, yeah.
Yes, which was, by all accounts of my daughter, an amazing experience. She loved it and enjoyed seeing everything that Mr. Johnson brought to see and the hikes and the compass and all of that. So I know that a lot of work goes into making that a success. So great, big thanks to that group of teachers and staff.
Any of those big field trips are amazing, and I can't imagine what it's like to be the teacher. I've of course got to be the parent chaperoning, and that is a busy enough time, keeping track of your 3 or 4 kids that they give you, and they're trying to keep track of all the adults and the children. So, and keeping it fun and enjoyable and a learning experience. Buffalo State Park has always been one of the favorites at my house too.
And if I'm remembering correctly, I believe Special Olympics bowling is next week. So,
It could be, okay.
good luck to them.
Yeah, really.
Always a fun time too.
Yes.
All right, we'll go on to number 6, reports, and we'll start out with 6.1, Jen Chapman from Healers.
I'm just gonna walk through the sale day report, so I think we should have that in your packets. So we have really great news for the district, on the sale of the general obligations school building refunding bonds. So these were the series 2020A bonds that we, took a look at and decided that it was, good to, refund a portion of that initial, the 2020A bonds. So I'll just walk through the sale day report for you and kind of give you the information from the sale this morning. So the purpose of this again is to refund those certain outstanding obligations, so not the entire 2020A issue, but a portion of that. The district administration, they participated in a rating call with Standard & Poor's and received the Minnesota Credit Enhancement Rating, which is a AAA. And then also the district was rated, has an underlying rating is also, and that is an A stable at this time. This morning we received 8 bids on the sale, which is excellent. You just usually want to see about 3. So you all had 8 this morning, so that was good news. And the low bidder was Jeffries out of New York with a 2.7315%. Then we have the high bid right below that, which is 2.8864. And always what I like to kind of point out there is that's a pretty small spread, which means it was very competitive, and that is always beneficial for the district. We've kind of got a summary of sale results there in that little table down below that. The main point that I'll make here is just that the district received a premium bid, which means that the price was greater than the par amount of the bonds. And that was a little higher than what we anticipated at the pre-sale time, when Shelby was here to talk about that. And so what happens with that, instead of the 12.2 that was initially included in the pre-sale report, because you received that large premium, that reduces the bond size. And so now it's a little over 12 million instead of the 12.2. And that also adjusts the true interest cost a little bit as well. All right, so that true interest cost that I was just talking about, that you received a 2.73% on these bonds, which is excellent. Right now we're seeing in the market some interest rates coming down, and so that was also beneficial this morning for the district. So you received the 2.73, which is lower than what we estimated at pre-sale time, which was 3.11%. And ultimately what that means is in September, we thought that the district would save about $490,000, but because of the favorable interest rates and that premium that was received, the district will be saving about $747,000 instead of the $490,000. So really the best news you could receive this morning. That was great.
That's significant.
Yeah, quite a bit different, exactly, yeah. And the closing date on the bonds is November 20th. And so at that time, the bond proceeds will be put into escrow. And when they're put into escrow, you can invest at that point in time. And so that'll be invested at about a little over 4%. And so you'll earn a little extra that you can then apply towards paying off the bonds as well. So that was beneficial. Also that our escrow rates right now are decent as well. I'll just go through the attachments really quick for you. So the first attachment is the bid tab. So this just lays out each one of the underwriters that bid this morning. And then the true interest rate that I was talking about before, the spread. So Jeffries was that 2.7315, walk your way through and get all the way to Key Bank, who was the 2.8864. So you can see where everybody came in on those bids this morning. And then we have the sources and uses of the funds. That's attachment number 3. The par amount of the bonds, as I mentioned, was reduced due to that receiving that 1.26 in premium. And then you can see how that shakes out with the use of the funds as well. So the deposit to the current refunding fund, that'll be deposited and it'll earn some interest there. And then on the call date in February, they'll take all of that and pay off that portion that we're refunding, and you'll have a new debt service schedule for that piece of it. So you really will have 2 debt service schedules running forward. You'll still have what's left on the 2020A, and then you'll have a new 2025A schedule as well. So we included the prior original debt service. So if you look at that, we are refunding the 27 through 34, and so then you'll see you'll have 2035 through 2041 will be left on the old, and then you'll have the new debt service schedule, which is on attachment page 5. And then as you keep going, we have the debt service comparison, and so that lays out the savings for the district. So when I talked about the $747,000 worth of savings, that's listed here, and you can see each year how that plays out and how it totals that $747,000. And then we have some other calculations down below too that you can feel free to take a look at. There's a present value savings too, but we really look at the future value savings when it comes to the debt service comparison. The current refunding escrow is what I was talking about, where the bond proceeds will be held until the call date on 2/1/2026. So you can see that amount that gets deposited, a little over $13 million. You'll earn that rate of 4.010%, and that is fixed. So those are pre-purchased, so that will stay that rate. And then you earn that little bit of interest that then will be used to pay off the bonds. And then the last attachment here is the Standard & Poor's rating report. So if you are looking for some really invigorating reading, stay up tonight, you can make your way through that, but that just lays out the reasoning for the AAA rating through the credit enhancement program, and then also that underlying rating, and it's an A stable right now. So you can read about why that is, and those 2 ratings were given to the district. Is there any questions?
Any questions? All right, we want the 6.2 food services.
Hot food, right? Good evening, everybody. I gave everybody some sheets just to kind of give you some updates on what we're rolling through since our last meeting and the start of this year. So currently, we've got 22 staff with 2 on-call floats, and then I broke it down to 5 in the demo kitchen, 8 in the lunchroom, 7 in Glendon, and then I have 1 float that covers between both sites. Our free and reduced percentage is down a little bit. We're at 28.77% this year, but that just fluctuates. So we just had our rollover for the year, so it'll change even next month. So I anticipate it would go back up to where we're at last spring. Summer feeding, our breakfast is down and our lunch was down a little bit, but we did have less days this year with Tracy's program being closed the last week of school, and with more Sunbucks, we don't have as many families coming in. So that's kind of where we're sitting there. Farm to school, my favorite. This year, we worked with the Amish community, and they have raised 75 turkeys for our Thanksgiving meals, so we have gotten them and they're in the freezer. And this year also they raised 446 chickens for us. So we got most of them in the freezer as of right now. We've been utilizing them the last month in some of our meals, so it's been a really good partnership to do that. I went back and I looked at local spending in our farm to school since January 2023 is just over $262,000 is what we as a district put back into our local community. And this year we did extend out to Monaga So we're going a little farther out, but yeah, it's still pretty exciting. Our new partners this year, we have 10 Fins Creamery out of Monaga. Great Northern Seafoods out of Duluth is a new partner that reached out to me. They saw us in the Minnesota Farmers Union calendar, and I included on the back some information about him. But him and his family are a local, not local, Minnesota local, from Duluth, Minnesota, but they are Alaskan fishermen. So we have in December sockeye salmon coming to the menu for the kids to try. So, and then our other partner, this new partner this year is Two Brothers Farms. That is just right outside the DGF school district over in Moorhead. Some things we've been working on is this summer we did some testing of briskets. So we did that, we've done the roast, the ribs, the whole chicken. So we're really utilizing our ovens where we do a lot of cooking overnight. And then in the morning when the cooks come in, we'll shred that down and process it into what that meal for that day is gonna be. Some events that we've done, 10 Fins Creamery, Mr. Hunstead joined us out there to do a tour, Two Brothers Farms. We went out and visited them. Doubting Thomas Farms, Noreen has gotten a grant and has asked us if DGF would participate in a cook-off this winter. And I said, absolutely, we'd love to. So far she's gotten, judges will be 3 chefs and a reporter from the Fargo Forum and Minneapolis Tribune. So we're kind of excited to get the details and what that's all going to be. All I know is there'll be some schools, there'll be some restaurant, and there will be some hospitals. So it's going to be kind of a fun process. I've been asked by MBA to be a farm to school reviewer this year. So I'm excited to see how that process works. And we have also submitted our farm to school grant, which I did verify there's not a conflict there. They divide that up with the pot of money, so that won't affect us at all. But I did submit for $35,000, which is the maximum that we could do. Special meals, we've got our Thanksgiving meal coming. December 2nd, we're going to do our brisket sandwich. December 9th, the sockeye salmon. And then we'll have our Christmas dinner on the 19th. Some of our participation for the first 32 days. It's kind of all over to where we were in 23 to down, little up, but it's averaging itself out. When it's nicer in the fall, the older kids still tend to leave, and we've had a very nice fall. So I anticipate that to go back up now that it's getting colder. USDA regulations and bills we're watching. Right now there's a lot of talk about National Bill HR 5753, which will increase federal reimbursement rates. I don't know where that's at on the board, but it's out there, so I'll keep a watch on that. They're trying to get that so that will become effective July 1st, 2026. In Minnesota, we have 2 bills I'm kind of watching. One is requires public schools to offer plant-based meal options. We do offer a vegetarian option every day, but not necessarily a plant-based protein. So we'll see where that goes. And then the other bill will provide free milk without requiring a full lunch. So we'll just keep that. Other things we're just watching is the upcoming Minnesota paid leave. And then I just included a flyer about 10 Fins Creamery and Great Northern Seafood.
What do you get from Two Brothers Farm?
Oh, we did a little bit of everything this year, but mainly vegetables. Vegetables was our, we did some cucumbers and cabbage and tomatoes, and some carrots, broccoli, cauliflower, and onions is what we got from them this year.
Any other questions for Shannon? Thanks so much,
Thanks so
Shannon.
much. Yeah, you guys have a great evening.
Thank you, Shannon.
All right, we'll go on to 6.2 board committee reports. We'll start with facilities and transportation committee.
Well,
We met the last board meeting, a couple things, we talked about the current status of the mediation, where we're at with that, what's going on there. Talked about Chase and his injury, but still back to work right away. I mean, thank him for everything he does, so that was great to see him. Also with Alex and being nominated there, that was amazing. We looked at the land swap for what was potentially going on with a future meeting coming up there. And then finally, with the van purchase and when we expect to see that here, it looks like early November. Yep. Am I missing anything else?
Spot on.
I brought notes.
Yep. Yeah, the van, we're kind of waiting to hear final. It won't be DOT. We thought when it came, so I asked, and he said they don't do that. The good news is Eileen said our person's in Lake Park, so she could get a hold of them real quick to have DOT it right away as soon as we get it, so we can get it in service right away. So that would be helpful. Just so you know too, so the 2011 now just got fixed. We got that all taken care of. We shared that bill with the appropriate party, so they're gonna pay for that.
That's the one that got rear-ended or whatever hit.
Yep, that got hit by the school, yeah, good question. It can't be DOT'd anymore, so we're gonna use it for other things right now, or we're thinking about selling it, we don't know, but we have gotten it back now after it's been fixed. So now we're gonna be renting from Richards instead of the other person's insurance covering the other Suburban until we get this van, which should only be here now a couple weeks of having to pay for renting a vehicle to cover our transportation. So overall, I guess it should work out pretty well.
So for the land swap, is there timing on a meeting there, or is there
Mid-January.
mid-January, and do we have a sense of who's going to meet them? Or is it going to be administration report?
What a wonderful question today, because Jen is here, and Ellers is working on this for us as well, and Moorhead, to kind of figure out the exact tax impact. So their team that works with Moorhead District is looking at it. Jen and Shelby that work for us are looking at it. They're going to get together to see, okay, what are these parcels each worth tax base wise, and then they're going to be a part of our meeting in January down at MSB. So we're going to ask the Moorhead School Board that are attending. It's going to be an informal, just an informational meeting. Ellers will be there too to kind of explain, hey, here's the parcels that are left, 3, 4, 5, and 6, what those values are. Visiting with the county, the Quick Trip used to be in our district, that new Quick Trip, and now it's in the Moorhead District, so that could help us quite a bit with some of that quicker exchange. But these are all things we got to talk about, and then I guess after that kind of informal informational meeting, we'll have to decide from that point. So what other meetings, what's next, what's it look like? Do we need, I don't know, I guess we'll have to go from there. So, that makes sense?
Would you mind providing a quick update on the JLG conversations? Or like, what's the next step there?
Yep, we're waiting to hear back from them. We're hoping it can happen in December, the next mediation. We're hopeful that their subcontractors, the engineering firms that work under them or with them or under their contract, would like to get this done in this fiscal year. So that's what we're pushing for. We have no date set at this time, but that's what he's working on with their, well, now it's not just one lawyer, right? There's lawyers representing all of them. So he's working on that coordination, hoping to get it in December. Yep.
Any other questions on facility and transportation? All right, we'll go on to the DLT meeting.
DLT,
And I did not.
okay, I don't think anybody, no, that's okay. So I was there, Allison Stewart, so the whole presentation was about our MTSS, which is multi-tier systems of support. So she talked about all the testing they've been doing this fall, getting our paraprofessionals set up at both sites, the elementary and the middle school, for their intervention time. They're getting their group set up, which has now all happened. And she just kind of went through the whole process of what's already happened, and then as we go through their checkpoints and on a weekly basis, they're checking on progress And so, yeah, it's just a lot that's happened, but having Allison as the coordinator really helps us, and I kind of keep saying the same words, and I said it to the DLT the other day. We're finally doing something with this group, we're doing things on purpose and intentional. And anytime, as we know in our lives, if we're intentional and we do things on purpose, we're a little bit better. And I guess that's our checkpoints too. Allison has data for us, and we'll have more and more and more as we go through the year, so we can check, hey, how are we doing? What's the impact? And she's excited to see that too. She's really happy with the team she's working with. One of the challenges she's dealing with is the middle school and the scheduling, because it's different than elementary, right? 6, 7, 8 each have their hour, and then you go, okay, but I need to see Shannon and David. Well, what are we gonna take them out of? And I don't want them to lose out on things that are, the whole, so that's a challenge that they're continually trying to manage and work through on what's best. She said that may be something that's year 2 and year 3 that we can finally get it really dialed in. But yeah, it was just, she's just very good at what she does. This is new for her, but I can tell you this, the amount of nights and weekends that this lady is working on it is probably too many, but I just appreciate that about her too. So we're just on a big shout out to her and her team of paraprofessional interventions. They've done really well and done a lot of work to get it set to where it is today. So yeah, excited to see it.
I agree. I've asked questions as a parent and as a school board member, just curious to see how things are going. And she could rattle things off like that, especially as a parent. She answered all my questions about the process, and I feel like we really, truly are doing like this program with fidelity. Like, we're doing things on purpose, like you said, and I feel like kids are getting the true intervention and services that they need. So I'm super happy about that.
And she's excited about the work too. We
Yeah,
were sitting
she's
visiting
passionate.
She is
before
very much.
volleyball, we were serving food for our girls, and she was just all jacked and ready to talk about it. And it was fun to see that excitement and joy, because she clearly does have passion for it too, so.
Yeah, it's awesome.
Any questions on DLT? All right, we'll go on to 6.3, superintendent report.
Yeah, and mine's fairly short today. If you saw the back of my head on KBLY, they did post something. I got called the next day saying, hey, you did an interview with KBLY? No, I don't know what you're talking about. Well, they were at the county commissioners meeting, and the camera runs in the back of the room. So they took bits and pieces. If you went to Valley News Live and typed in DGF referendum, you'll just see my little clip from the back of my head. Anyway, which was fine. But the commissioners, it went well. I just went through our presentation, and they just said too, thank you for what you're doing with your school district, and good luck. Hopefully, people that are watching today and in the weeks to come will hopefully support you. So yeah, overall it was good, and what was posted from KVLY was okay. I was getting nervous on that, but it was good. So obviously next we got a week from tomorrow is November 4th. So the last week kind of push. I am going to have been working on my video today. I will have it done tomorrow and we'll post it. It's just kind of just want to make sure that people in the public, if they want to see this face, just to kind of make that relationship, saying here's why we're asking, here's what we're asked for, here's what we're going to do if you say yes. And I think it's important to see my face, good or bad, it's kind of building that relationship and connecting. And if people have questions after I share that, hopefully they feel more comfortable maybe asking. So that's going to come out tomorrow afternoon. That gives us kind of a 1 week push. I'm going to talk to our principals tomorrow too about some things that if they want to share to their staff and their parents about kind of their position as well. So yeah, and then we'll see. But the one thing that I should say I added here is that I also met with all the senior government classes, Mr. Rader's classes, last Thursday after the DLT. I stayed and met with first hour, second hour, and fourth hour. Great conversation. Talked to them a little bit about how much they think our budget is. and they were saying things like 1.2 million and, you know, whatever, and then when I said 20 million, they went, what? That's crazy, you know? And I said, well, yeah, and I said, you know, and then you talk about people, is 75 to 80% with our bus contractors too, and I said, that's where about 14, 15 million go. Oh my gosh, you know, they're thinking everybody gets $1 million, right? Well, we have more than 15 people working here. So I said, if you have 200 and some people, you know, it's about, you know, $65,000, $70,000. Oh, that's not bad. Yeah, I mean, you know, just trying to get that perspective was interesting and fun to talk about. We did talk about land swap because they brought it up. And so we just had that little spot in Dilworth. I said, how much, you know, how many tax dollars do you think the Morton district gets from just that little area? Oh, you know, like 30,000, maybe 50,000. I said, well, just short of 700,000. And so just to kind of, you know, they don't ever have to think about it because they're 17 and 18. So it was kind of fun to talk about that. And then we talked about land values a little bit, you know, that map with how much money we have. And I asked them who they think their biggest taxpayers are in the district. And so it got to be some fun conversation. So yeah, it was nice for me. It's fun to connect and spend some time in the classroom. So it was good for me. And I'm not sure how many voters I got out of the deal, but I did tell them they vote however they want to vote. I told them where they could go vote early if they want to, but on November 4th, you know, please take that opportunity. But before that, talk to your parents. They're the ones that are going to end up paying, you know, because I asked how many people own their own home. Not too many of these seniors have their own home. Actually, zero, right? So anyway, it was just fun, and it was learning for, you know, a chance for me to share kind of our district stuff with them, and it was fun. So yeah. Questions for me?
Questions?
I think the last email that you sent out, had a lot of really great information in it about more details, I think, on what the money is going to be used for, which was really great. I would just encourage those that have students in the district that did receive it to share with those that maybe don't have kids in the district, because the email distribution list probably is not that fast. I'm not sure who you were all able to send it to, but if there would be benefit, lots of great information in that email, so share now.
Yeah, and it's kind of part of my message too on the video, but sometimes, you know, it's always what's too much, what's not enough, and it depends on who's reading it, right, and who's watching it. It varies so greatly. I just felt sometimes, you know, when you get information from a coworker or somebody that's asking you a question about your position, you get a vibe of what they want or need or looking for, and that's kind of where I went with some of that, because that's what they needed to say yes. So I gave them more detail. Sometimes other people, yeah, I don't need that, but what's it going to go for in general? Okay, well, you know, everybody's different, right? And so, I think that was received well too by them, and I guess that's my job too, is to make sure people have the information they need to vote however they need to vote. So.
How has it been for questions coming in? I mean, have we seen spikes at all, or is it leveled off now with?
Well, they said, so interesting enough, so we meet every Monday with RAP Strategies, and one thing they said is after last week's information that we sent out to staff and to parents and whatnot, it had spiked, what was it, 3 or 4 times or whatever, what they had seen on the site. They also can somehow tell it's new people. And so there was 284 new hits at the end of last week, which they said was fantastic. And so, that I guess is striking somebody at least to go check and go look that hadn't previously already done so. So
I'm sure they watch IP address where they're hitting off of.
yeah, I'm sure. So however they track the data or information. So yeah, that was good to hear today. So the messages that are going out are resonating with somebody at least who go to the site. So they say that's typically a positive thing, because if they go there, they're getting more information. And I would say this too, Troy, last week I got more questions, emails, etc. to me than I have any other week. And so, yeah, I guess I'll count that as positive too, because then I got to share, right, and got more detail to what, you said, Angela. So.
Was it last week when you also sent out, or somebody, I can't remember where I'm seeing all this communication, but more about the farm tax, like how it's not gonna impact farmland? Was that last week as well? Or was that the week prior?
Oh gosh, I'm trying to remember too.
That was another great one.
Yeah, and and that's another thing I'm gonna say in the video tomorrow. Again, just to remind people that the dollars that are gonna be collected are gonna come from homes and businesses, not farmland. Just to reiterate, and then say again, if you have more questions about your specific property, please go to the website and punch it in, so, yeah. Yeah, I guess, I'm just trying to get out the information as much as we can to inform people, so they make that best decision for them, I guess, so, yeah.
Any other questions for Shannon? All right, we'll go on to 7.1. This is the motion to approve the regular meeting on October 13, 2025. Do I have a motion? Motion by Troy, do I have a second?
Second.
Second by Brittany. Any questions or discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor say aye. Aye. Opposed? Motion carries. Item number 8, this is the consent agenda to approve bills for October 2025 in the amount of
$408,006.19.
All right, and then treasurer's monthly budget report, part of your packet, approved and filed for audit. Resignations, to approve the resignation of Diane Perkins, food service, effective October 31st, 2025. And approve the resignation of Shayna Barra, paraprofessional, effective October 31st, 2025. Do I have a motion?
So moved.
Motion by Nicole, do I have a second?
I'll second.
Second by Angela. Any questions or discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. On to number 9, new and unfinished business, 9.1. This is to approve the list of fundraisers to date which are in your packet. Do I have a motion? Motion by Laura, do I have a second? Second by Mike. Any questions or discussion?
Do you recall from my weekly update about the FFA, and so Katie has visited with her, and it got missed, but it's something they did before, and it wasn't, a brand new thing, so I told her to go ahead, let's add to it, but hopefully it has your blessing as well, because they did have to get started on it, so.
For, which one was
The
that?
FFA, was it the fruit sales?
Fruit
So I
sales,
said, go ahead, they didn't want the fruit to sit longer, and she forgot, she apologized, and anyway, so
Makes sense.
I gave the old go ahead, I guess.
Any questions or discussion on the list?
This is probably a really dumb question, but what's the DGF Parent Association?
Elementary, there's an elementary parent group.
I was thinking sports for some reason. Sorry,
No, that's
dumb
okay.
question.
No, it's not a dumb question, so yeah.
I think we might have the same question.
Yep.
So now we won't approve these again until January, like it says at the top. We'll get a list like this again for,
This is just an ongoing list, so then anything that gets added here, we just keep adding in. And so I have it at every monthly admin meeting now.
yep,
And
but
then-
we only get this.
We
I mean,
did it, we
says
only
it
do
up
this,
here.
is it quarterly?
No,
No.
up here.
Yeah.
I would say
Sorry,
before
I
every
didn't-
sports season.
It says July,
there
October,
we
and
are. I'm
January.
sorry.
So this is like just a live doc essentially, and then it only comes to us the 3 times.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yep, okay, yep. And we constantly review it, I'm sorry, now I got my admin in my head. We do it every month just to make sure, and it also keeps me on tabs with our admin team going, oh, hey, yeah, we got this. So we have it as part of our agenda every month.
Perfect.
So if anything comes up or gets added, then they remember it.
Then you know about it
Sometimes-
sooner than later.
Right, and then I know, and then we can have it signed so you can see that, oh, Shannon has already talked about this improvement, so is Katie or a principal if it affects, the school.
Yeah,
So,
perfect.
yep.
Any other questions?
I have one more. Have there been any conversations on if Amazon wish lists are considered fundraisers?
No. Yeah.
I mean, I brought that up to Shannon and he said that would be something that would, you had said that you would look at it before we're looking into the next school year.
Okay.
Yeah, it's playing in whatever color you want to call it, the grade. It's independent to the teacher, but yet the school, administrator sent it out, so, yeah, there's a little logistics there that, I don't, which could potentially send a mixed message to parents or families, maybe. And it's something we definitely gotta visit more about, so, yeah.
I don't ask to stand in anybody's way.
No,
I presume,
no,
you know,
yeah.
it's just like the question of where does that fall in the
It's kind of the same as me, I don't wanna get in people's way, and yet I wanna make sure there's a process, and we know the process, and our people that would want to donate to a wish list know what they're doing and what it means. And that's where anyway, I just think it needs more discussion. Yeah.
Any other questions or discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor say aye. Aye.
Yes,
Opposed?
he came at that.
Motion carried. All right. Item 9.2, this is to approve the community education annual report, which is also part of your manual. Do I have a motion? Motion by Troy, do I have a second?
Second.
Second by Brittany. Any questions or discussion?
This is just kind of the, the requirement, I guess, of the state that Tracy does every year. I know she reported to you guys, I think, last meeting, right?
Yep.
Yep. And this is just her annual report to the state, so.
Any questions or discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor say aye. Aye. Opposed? Motion carries. On to 9.3, this is to approve the first reading of the following policies: 706, acceptance of gifts; 707, transportation of public school students; 708, transportation of non-public school students; 709, student transportation safety policy; 709, student transportation safety form; 710, extracurricular transportation; 711, video recording on school buses; 712, video surveillance other than on buses; 713, student activity accounting. And this is the first reading, and there will be another reading. So, do I have a motion? Motion by Angela. Do I have a second? Second by Troy. Any questions or discussion?
Just so everybody knows, we do have a policy committee meeting following this meeting to discuss things.
Any other question or discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor say aye. Aye. Opposed? Motion carries. On 9.4, this is to approve donations as presented in your packet by resolution. We need a motion. I'll just generally describe, we're just going to generally have a policy of not reading resolutions. We don't have to do it as required through law. So we're going to just generally describe the resolutions to avoid speed reading by the board chair or anyone else. We are looking at a donation from, this is plain preserved bullfrogs, is that right? Am I reading that right?
Yes. It's donated, so they're donating to the science department.
To the science department.
Yep.
And that was by Laura Lundy.
Yes.
And then we've got $500 for bus to.
From the Touchdown Club, yeah.
From the Touchdown Club. So, in advance. Any questions or I need a motion first, I guess.
So moved.
Motion by Nicole, do I have a second?
I'll second.
Second by Angela. Any questions or discussion? A little faster.
We got one.
Got the mouse.
Yeah.
This hearing aid out.
This hearing
Yeah, this is my bad here. Any questions or discussion? All right, this resolution will do it by roll call. Troy? Aye. Nicole?
Aye.
Laura? Aye. David? Aye. Brittany?
Aye.
Angela? Resolution passes. All right, to 9.5, this is to approve the non-certified contract for Carly Agnew, paraprofessional, class 2, step 3, effective October 27, 2025. Do I have a motion? Motion by Nicole, do I have a second?
That was Laura, I was meeting.
Laura? Do I have a second? Any questions or discussion? All right, hearing none, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye, opposed, motion carries. On to 9.6, this is to approve the non-certified contract for Ann Cole, food service class 1 step 10 effective November 3rd, 2025. Do I have a motion?
So moved.
Motion by Angela, do I have a second? Second by Laura. Any questions or discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor say aye. Aye. Opposed? Motion carries. All right. On to 9.7, is to approve the non-certified contract for Brooke Dudley, paraprofessional, class 2, step 4, effective November 6th, 2025. Do I have a motion?
So moved.
Motion by Nicole, do I have a second?
I'll second.
Second by Angela. Any questions or discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor say aye. Aye. Opposed, motion carries. On to 9.8, this is for the non-certified contract for Jeanette Winchell, paraprofessional, class 2, step 5, effective October 27, 2025. Do I have a motion? Motion by Troy, do I have a second?
Second.
Second by Laura. Any questions or discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor say aye. Opposed, motion carries. On to 9.9, this is proof of resolution awarding the issuance and sale of bonds. And Ms. Chapman gave a good presentation on this, so I don't think we need to necessarily describe it, but certainly we're coming out with the presentation. The notes right down with the resolution, I have to read all that.
And understand it better.
Amen to that. Do I have a motion?
So moved.
Motion by Nicole. Do I have a second?
Second.
Second by Brittany. Any questions or discussion?
Are we extending extending the term of it, or we're just?
Nope. Go ahead. Well, it goes to 2034, I believe, is that one, the new one. So the other one goes to 2041, 40.
I guess the question I'm asking is so right now, currently today as we sit, it's 2025 and 2040 or 2034. So now are we adding more time onto our debt?
No. In fact, it may be less because of the interest we're gonna be making, so we can pay it out sooner. Yeah, no, it's fine. That is a good question, because typically when you refinance, oftentimes you can't extend it. So, yeah.
Any other questions or discussion? All right, hearing none, roll call. Troy? Aye. Nicole?
Aye.
Laura? David? Aye. Brittany?
Aye.
Angela? Resolution passes. Okay, and 10.1, the next board meeting is November 10th, 2025, 6 p.m. here in the DGF Community Room. Following that will be the Budget Committee meeting. On to number 11, this is to adjourn the regular meeting. Do I have a motion?
So moved.
Motion by Nicole, do I have a second?
I'll second.
Second by Angela. Any questions or discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor say aye. Aye. Opposed?